I'm Brett, this is Luke. We're going to show you today how we can make a river table. We're going to use easy products that you can buy at your local paint or independent hardware shop. We started to prepare a jig. Basically we've got pine board with MDF board on the bottom. We can screw it down, like you can see we've screwed it in under the bottom there, and or we can tape it around the outside. The most important step that people miss making the river tables is not sealing the timber with the right product. The timber can actually bow and cup and warp. The other problem you have is if you don't seal the timber and you just get the resin and you do the pour straight in there, you get a lot of aeration coming out of the timber, and then you can't get rid of the bubbles. It's also important to seal the timber with the right product. The product we're going to use is the same product that we do the pour with. We use the liquid glass as the sealer. Then we know it's compatible. Epoxy resins normally take around about 24 hours to fully cure. So we've got a number of different stages to go through. Luke here is going to mix the resin. We always pour the base first, and then we add the hardener in. We're now pouring the base into the can, and we put little increments on the outside so we know where to pour it into. Pour it slowly. You don't want to create too many bubbles. We're now going to add the hardener. It's only half the amount of the hardener. Luke is now going to stir the product. The idea is to keep stirring it until the resin becomes totally clear, which can take 3 or 4 minutes of stirring for the streaks to totally dissipate. When Luke poured that hardener into the base, they actually hate each other, and so they're moving apart, and that's what's causing the heat. They keep moving apart until it generates enough heat for them to bind together, and that's how epoxy resins work. But the smaller the mass, the longer it takes for that heat to generate. We're putting the sealer coat on now, and this will stop a lot of the aeration coming out of the timber when we do the big pour, and it'll also stop the timber from warping and cupping on those hot days. The liquid glass is basically a filler. Okay, so we're going to fill all the irregularities in the surface. So let's pour the base in here. Now we're going to add the colorant. Again, must shake it every time you use the colorant, no matter what it is. We always pour it into the base first so you get your color right. So we're just going to stir it slowly. Once we're happy with the color, then we're going to add the hardener and then stir it in again. Now Luke is going to add the hardener. So again, pour it in slowly and stir it slowly. And then we're going to wait that induction time again before we pour it. All the induction times, waiting times, all this information is on our website. Before we do the pour, it is important to make sure this is level. If it's not level, then all the resin will go down to one side, okay? Very simple, leveler. So we're going to fill this up just to the level of the timber. After we do the initial pour, we're going to need to wait 24 hours until the next stage. We need it to cure before we want to do another pour or even a finish coat. So we're trying to get right to the edge of the timber, flush with the timber. If you do happen to get any little air bubbles coming on the surface, you can get rid of them with a heat gun. It removes it fairly quickly. So we've now popped the table out of the jig, and we're going to give it a sand so we can put a finish coat on there. We prefer to use around about 240 to 300, the white non-clogging sandpaper. Nice easy strokes while we're sanding it. You can round those edges because they'll be a little sharp after we pop it out of the jig. There may be a few scratches there. The clear coating that we're going to use will cover all that. It will go cloudy, and again, the clear coating will bring it back to full gloss level. We definitely wipe the product after every sanding and before any coating with that. It's 100% ethanol. It does not leave any residue. Just put it on a bit of paper and wipe it over, and that will remove everything without leaving a residue. The clear coating we're going to put on there is Northane. It's either gloss or if you like, you can have a satin finish. The Northane can be brush, rolled or sprayed. We're going to do a demonstration with a brush today. It's a 2-to-1 mix. So basically, this can is filled up to here, and this can's only half full. We're going to pour that can into that can. We're going to stir it up and apply it like you would a normal paint. So now Luke is going to apply the Northane clear. Just nice easy strokes with a good synthetic brush, and it will self-level, so just nice and easy. Obviously do the edges too, to seal it all up, to make it look uniform. So that's the basic steps how to make a river table.